Hi everyone, welcome to this webinar. My name is Balamaga. I will be your host along with Dr. Eva Balamaga. In case you're wondering why the names sound together, it's because she's my wife and co-founder for that Keto clinic. She's the one going to be saying all that sense. I am unfortunately not qualified to speak in any professional capacity about this topic. But thankfully, we have Dr. Eva here and Dr. Joseph, who will be taking over as I do the moderating. Like I said, my name is Balamaga, and I'm guessing you're here because you have a weight problem, or you know someone has a weight problem, or you anticipate an oncoming weight problem and you want to nip it in the bud before it becomes a problem, and you made the right decision. In this discussion, you're going to be taught how you can design your own meal plan according to the different diets that exist. And it should equip you with the knowledge that you need to come up with something that works for you, for someone of your particular body, age, height, a diet you can adopt and adapt to. Because there's so many diets that exist out there. The trick is in finding the one that works for you, the one that you can stick to. So with the knowledge that's going to be shared, I'm optimistic that you're going to be able to identify what works for you, and then hopefully you will be able to put in the work and stick to it. Yes, as you all may know, as you may all know, me and Dr. Eva are co-founders for the Keto Clinic. So we run a Keto Clinic where we help people like you who have weight problems or comorbidities like diabetes, high blood pressure, or children with neurological disorders like autism and epilepsy who want some help to attain their milestones faster through the use of the keto diet. So that's what we do primarily, but this free webinar is to help people who don't necessarily want to sign up for keto, or they want to do it on their own, or they don't have the will to stick to a serious exercise regime that can help you lose weight, or any of the diets out there, or they're not sure what to do. What we hope is that by the end of this exercise, you'll identify what works for you, and with the knowledge you'll have, you'll be able to apply it to yourself, or maybe help someone else who needs the help. Our speakers, but before I do that, I'll request you to follow us. That's the Keto Clinic on our socials, Facebook, Instagram. We're also going to come up with a WhatsApp channel where we shall be sharing knowledge like this on a regular basis. So when that happens, we shall notify you. We also intend to do more such talks in the near future so we can share this knowledge for those who may need it. So don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp channel. And yeah, also feel free to ask questions as we go along in the chats. Also, tell us about how you come to know about this, where you're coming in from, and if there are any questions that the doctors can answer for you, they will be glad to do that. But let's get into the presentation. Allow me to introduce our first speaker, Dr. Eva. Some of you, probably most of you already know her, but for those of you who don't, ladies and gentlemen, please allow me to introduce a distinguished medical professional whose expertise spans across the fields of medicine, obesity, and nutrition. She has an MBCHP from Makerere University and certifications in understanding obesity from the University of Edinburgh and food and health from Stanford University. Our esteemed speaker brings a wealth of knowledge and experience to the table. As a keynote speaker on this webinar, she promises to provide valuable insights and perspectives that will undoubtedly enlighten and inspire. Join us in welcoming the exceptional individual whose dedication to health and wellness is truly commendable. Dr. Eva, over to you.
Thank you for having me today, and thank you for tuning into this webinar. Allow me to share my screen with you all. So today, Dr. Joseph and I will be teaching you how to design your own weight loss plan. We'll explore how to set realistic goals and make healthier food choices. We'll teach you to incorporate exercise into your busy routine and how to stay motivated on your weight loss journey. Before we get started, I'd like you to assess your current situation. What factors do you already have in place that will help you lose weight easily or become a hindrance to your weight loss? We'll start off with your sex. You're either male or female. And men and women don't lose weight the same because there are differences in body composition and hormonal profiles. Men generally have more muscle mass and lean body fat compared to women because of the differences in hormones like testosterone. And it's well known that muscle allows for more burning of calories at rest than fat does. Therefore, men have a higher basal metabolic rate, making weight loss potentially a lot easier for them than it is for us. You'll find that with women, because of our estrogen fluctuations, we have a lot of water retention and a lot of appetite changes, which is why we snack a lot more than men do. Societal factors also affect the different genders differently. You'll find that as women, we face more pressure to adhere to unrealistic body standards, leading to disordered eating compared to our male counterparts. With age, metabolism changes. The older you become, the slower your metabolism. Let's take the young adult category of age, for example. People between the ages of 18 and 25 find weight loss very easy because their metabolism is quite fast and they also have higher activity levels. For the middle-aged adult, between the ages of 26 and 45, metabolism is starting to slow down, so weight loss is becoming more and more challenging. Also, because of their busy schedule and work requirements, they have less time for exercise. And for the females in this category, hormonal changes are starting to act up, which is affecting weight distribution and making it easier for them to gain weight, especially around the mid-body. For the older adults, metabolism is really, really slow, which causes them to have a decrease in muscle mass and an increase in body fat percentage. So weight loss is the most hardest for people above the age of 46. Additionally, for these older folk, they have a lot of age-related health conditions and medications that affect metabolism and also their weight loss effects. It's important for you to understand what your body build is. There are three main body types. So either an endomorph, an ectomorph, or a mesomorph. The endomorphs are people that have a higher body fat, so they tend to look round and large. They are the typical chubby person. The ectomorph is leaner in body and has a long body structure. These are the people we describe as thin individuals. The mesomorph, on the other hand, is more muscular and has a medium-sized body structure. So depending on what body build you've got, you have different points of fat storage in your body. So body deposition is different for all of us. So we all have different target zones when it comes to weight loss. Some people have the bulk of their weight around their belly. Others have it in the butt and hip, others around the mammary tissues, while others have fatter legs. So depending on what your target zone is, you should curate a plan that can help you lose weight from these different areas. You need to understand how the timing of your meals will either work for you or against you on this weight loss journey. Different people have breakfast, lunch, and dinner at different times, while some even skip meals altogether. But the general recommendation is that you should have your breakfast as early as possible, about 30 minutes from waking up, to help you regulate your sugars better and crave less. It's also advisable to have your lunch closer to noon and dinner earlier in the evening around 4 p.m. so that you have enough time for digestion. Skipping meals altogether may seem like a good idea in the short term for you to curb your caloric intake, but in the long run, it is not healthy and it's also not sustainable. Your work schedule can either work for or against you. For the people that work standard 9 to 5 jobs, they have a time constraint. There's no time for meal prep and there is no time for exercise. Their jobs are also quite stressing, which leads them to eat emotionally and also have disrupted patterns of sleep and make very poor food choices. Also, because they tend to sit a lot at their desk for the biggest part of the day, they lead a more sedentary lifestyle compared to their peers. For the people that work night shifts and in different time zones, these ones have a unique problem because they have a disturbed sleep pattern. And this disturbed sleep pattern also disrupts their body's natural circadian rhythm, which will not only affect their hunger hormones, but it will also affect their appetite and their metabolism. So these people that work nights usually tend to snack a lot because of this disruption in metabolism. Also, because they work at the weird part of the day when everybody else is free, they have a decreased opportunity of socializing, which contributes to feelings of feeling stressed and lonely, which can trigger emotional eating. For the people that have flexible working hours, it's usually predictable that they'll probably have more time for food prep and exercise, yes, but you'll find that majority actually do not use this time favorably for their weight loss. They instead use this time to socialize and eat more junk food. For the people that are retired, they have a lot of me time, which causes them to eat out of sheer boredom. Lastly, you need to understand what dietary restrictions you've got and how they can affect your weight loss. If you have any restrictions on food, say you're a vegan or you're allergic to nuts or to seafood, these eliminations from your menu can cause you nutritional deficits, which you do not want. So you have to come up with very good alternatives for them. So the first step to creating our own weight loss plan is to set a weight loss goal. This weight loss goal is not it's not a weight we dream of. It's not that weight we've desired for the longest time. It is not the weight we wish we could be because all our friends are at that weight. No, our goal weight is a scientifically proven weight that your body can actually sustain. There are steps to attaining this goal, and we're going to get to that step by step. So at this point, you can pull out your little notebook and your pen, and we'll start on that. But remember, whatever goal we are going to set, it should be a SMART goal. It should be specific by day, by week, by month, and by year. It should be measurable, or else it's worthless. It should be attainable. Set goals that are easy to attain, or else you won't be able to attain them. Make sure your goal is realistic and relevant to your body type, to your life schedule, and also to your reality. Make sure your goal is time-based. You want to have a timeline during which you achieve this goal. Our first step is to ask ourselves these 4 questions. Number 1, what is the highest weight you've been at as an adult? Think of what that weight is and write it down under the word high. 2, ask yourself, what's your lowest weight as an adult? Write that down under the word low. And then 3, what weight do you always come back to? No matter how much weight you lose, your body always resets back to that weight. There's a theory that everybody has a set point weight that they always revert to. This is what we call a stable weight. So write the word stable in your notebook and write what that weight is. It's not a range of weights, it is a single weight. And then lastly, calculate your Hamwi weight. The Hamwi weight is it is a weight that it's the weight that corresponds to your height. I'm going to teach you how to calculate that. So for every person that is 5 foot tall, if you're a female, you get 45 kilograms. According to you. If you're a male, you get accorded 48 kilograms. So 5 foot is about 152 centimeters. So assuming a female that is 5'3", that's about 162 centimeters tall, she'd get 45 kilograms for being 152 centimeters. And then for those extra 10 between 152 and 162, she gets an extra 10 kilograms, giving her a total weight of 45 plus 10, which is 55 kilograms for her Hamwi. So whatever goal weight this individual would choose, the weight should be no lower than the Hamwi. It should be about 5 kilos on either side of the stable weight, and she should aim to lose it at a short-term rate of 1 kilogram per week and long-term rate of 0.5 kilogram each week. So this is what you should have on your piece of paper. You should have a high weight of about 75 kilos, a low weight of 60, a stable weight of 67, and a harm weight of 55. So we said the goal weight should be on either side of stable 5 kilograms, shy or more, giving us about 62 kilos. So if this person that's 75 now wants to drop down to 62, they'd have to lose about 13 kilos. And the rate would have to be, for the short term, a kilogram per week, 13 kilos in 13 weeks. For the long term, it should be half a kilogram every week, giving us about 13 kilograms in 26 weeks. So this becomes your goal weight statement. We should all have this written down, tailored to you, not what I have on my screen. So that's our first step. The next thing we have to do is make sure that we are recording these metrics regularly. Some people opt for daily measurements, others weekly, others monthly, but you must measure your goal. Your goal must be measurable so you know whether what you're doing is actually working or not. For us to check our weight, we have to make sure we have a functional scale with batteries. We have to make sure the scale is on a hard floor, not on a carpet or a rug. Weight is best taken first thing in the morning before you eat or drink anything and before you void. Weight is best taken when you're naked or at worst putting on very light clothing. So you step onto your scale, face forward, count 1, 2, 3, then take your reading. Once you've taken that reading, jot it down in your little weight monitoring sheet and attach the date as well. That is how we take our weight. Make sure you measure your BMI often so that you know whether what you're working is giving you a health benefit or not. For those who are unaware, the BMI is the body mass index, and it's a good indicator of how much fat you've got in your body. It has its own shortcomings, but for most people, it is applicable. So for you to know what your BMI is, get your weight in kilograms, get your height in meters and square it, divide the two numbers, whatever digit you get, that's your BMI. If it falls under 18, then you're underweight. You should put on some weight. That's a talk for a different day. If your BMI falls between 18 and 25, then you're at the normal weight. You're doing great. Work on your maintenance. If you're overweight and your BMI is in the range of 25 to 30, then you should be able to create a plan for yourself and start on a weight loss and weight maintenance journey. If your BMI is in the obese range, that means it's above 30. It can be class 1, 2, or 3, depending on where you fall. You still need the stock. Okay, it's also important that we take non-scale measurements using a tape measure. The tape measure will help you measure the different body parts, like your chest. The chest measurement is best taken along the mammary areas, along the nipple line. So the right arm and left arm, take it along the biceps. That is midway between the top part of your shoulder and the elbow. And then we'll take the upper bust, which is about 2 inches above the navel. Then the stomach is right at the umbilical level. And then 2 inches below that gives us our waistline measurement. The hip and butt is the widest point. You just stand with your legs together, not tightly closed and not akimbo either. And then right leg and left leg at the mid thigh. Measure this and write it down in your little notebook. That will be it for setting our goal and how to track the goal. The next step is to make a plan for exercise. I will hand this over to Dr. Mutiaba Joseph.
Thank you very much, Dr. Eva, for that presentation. I'm going to invite Dr. Mutiaba, but before I do, I want to remind you to send in questions in case you have any, so we can come back to them. If you have any questions for Dr. Eva, please send them in the comments, then she'll come back to them. I'm going to introduce our next speaker, and that is Dr. Mutiaba Joseph, a seasoned medical professional. He holds an MB-CHB from Makerere University and has dedicated years to the practice of medicine, bringing invaluable expertise to every aspect of his work. Currently serves as a resident family medicine physician at Makerere University and a senior medical officer at Lifelink Hospital. Our speaker's commitment to healthcare is truly commendable. Moreover, their role as a trainer of trainees for FUFA, Department of Sports and Nutrition, highlights their passion for promoting health beyond traditional medical settings. Furthermore, our speaker's influence extends beyond clinical practice, as they also serve as the national health educator with the NTV and Spark TV. and various radio stations, disseminating vital health information to the masses. With such a diverse and impactful portfolio, our speaker embodies the essence of dedication and service in the medical field. Please join me in welcoming a distinguished individual whose contributions to the healthcare system in Uganda continues to make a significant difference in the lives of many people. Dr. Muchava, over to you. I hope you're ready to take on right now.
Thank you, Mr. Balamaga. Thank you, Dr. Eva. This is a very wonderful opportunity to share back to the people. Okay. So sorry, I was not told how many minutes I'm going to use, but I will just copy the speed Dr. Eva was using. I will try to be clear such that we get the information. So we are looking at exercise for weight loss. As Dr. Evans talks about it, we have a number of things which determine our weight loss, our weight. And first and foremost, it's the diet. There are so many other things we can talk about with the diet, which she is an expert to that, but also the other aspect is the exercise. But then you want to understand which kind of exercise. This exercise of going only for a weekend and exercise, then the entire week you're not exercising. How does exercise match with the diet? What is the use of you exercising then after you binge? What is the use? Okay, there are those who over-exercise. Which kind of exercise are you doing? Is walking the same as running? What is enough and what is not enough? Even there are those who do exercise a number of times, but still they have issues with cutting their weight. And what is it, weight or is it mass? You know, when you go to measure ourselves, we measure mass. But often, because everyone calls it weight, that's what we term it. That's why you hear what they say, body mass index. They don't say body weight index. It's what usually we use. On our bodies, we have the muscles, we have the bones. These two contribute to the formation of the energy that is going to be used to move the body, so they are productive, the muscles and the bones. So their weights are usually, according to the calculations, their weights are usually estimated. They don't move so much. There is not much difference within their normal expected weights. What we see that is not very productive is the fat. That's why when you're looking at, when you talk about weight loss, we are not talking about someone becoming as thin as someone who has TB. We're looking at you losing the fat, because the fat is which is not productive on you. So when you say exercise for weight loss, we're not meaning exercise for...
1 second. Sorry, Dr. Mutiava. I don't know if you've started the presentation because you're still on the first slide. I don't know whether that's deliberate or
that's a very short preamble.
Okay, thank you.
Please,
Someone was wondering in the questions. Thank you. Please proceed.
Yes. So we are looking at weight loss, the loss of the fat. But we are maintaining the muscle and we are maintaining the bone. That's why when you over-exercise, you may endanger your health by losing even the muscles, by even losing the bones, by even losing, we see in sports, ladies start even losing their menstrual periods. They can't have their periods because when the exercise you do is much more than the body can handle, you can go to the negative side. So what is good for us now is to understand what we are looking for, which exercise is going to make me able to lose the fat on me, so that I can become healthy. What is an ideal physique? It is versatile because, for example, if you're asked to make uniforms of a school, sports team, or even a team of people you're working for. For example, me, I use sports because it's what I know. If you look at people who are in the category of high jumpers, they need to be tall and lean, and they have long legs. Weightlifters, they need to have the muscles and they have to be short to stabilize their spine. And their muscle-bound legs, they're near the ground, so that their center of gravity can be enable them to carry deep loads. Now, the gymnasts, they have to be small, they have to be light and lean. Then the swimmers have to have wider shoulders because that's what they're going to generate. So it depends on what you're going to do. So your ideal physique depends on what you do, depends on what you are. So we cannot all have the same physique. There are those who want to look fine when they have muscles. There are those who want to look fine when they're. So it depends. You don't have to copy, as Dr. said. But there are things, although the sports nutritionists and other people who are in so much rate with weight, there are things they you don't usually tell us, but which you should account for. You can't have the same weight with another person and perform the same way like they perform. So, for example, your body can be able to perform at a certain weight, which the other person can't. So there's this difference in physical characteristics, and there's also the difference in amount and distribution of muscle, mass, and the body for every person. This is very important for you to know. When you get someone who plays wrestling, they're actually not fat, but they are big. The weight is in the muscles, well built. Then we get the other person, an obese person. They actually have a lot of fat and the muscles are very small. So they actually, someone who's obese can have the same weight with someone who is playing wrestling, but one of them, we say they are obese, the other one is not, because of the fat they have on their body. Back to the physique. When you talk about physique, in hospital you hear physical exam. The physique is your body structure. So the physique is that basic structure. What we can do, we usually can remold it. It can be by training and also the diet. So there are two things. Well, we don't choose your parents. We don't choose your, so we can't do much about your height. We can't do much about some of the things which are inherited. But what we usually do, we can work with what you have to remold you, to fit the physique that is going to help you perform or be better. So ideally, a person is supposed to have at least 3 to 5% of the body weight of fat if he's a man, and if he's a woman, 10 to 15. You can see women have 3 times as much fat as men. Though these days you may find men having more fat than women. Is fat bad? No. It has some advantages. It can improve on your flotation if you're swimming. It improves the insulation against the cold and also protects you from damage. For example, if you're playing, even if there was a scarf when you're fighting, someone who has fat easily can may not get damaged in the inside than someone who's lean. But then we find a challenge with this excess fat. There's this increased effort you need to move the body. Imagine you have an extra 50 kilos of fat on you. So it's like you're holding a bag, 50 kilogram HEMA cement bag. It's unable to add you any energy, but you have to carry it. So there's an increased energy cost of movement because of this carrying a big thing which is not producing any energy. And the power to weight ratio reduces. So power to weight ratio, we look at how, for example, the muscles, the bones, are able to produce the power. So when you have fat, fat is not able to produce that power. So it instead occupies the part for muscles. So there's that decreased ratio. You have more fat, as I told you. Someone who is muscular has more power to weight ratio. They're able to perform. Someone who is obese has less power to weight ratio, that most of the weight is fat. So this is the background of why we need the exercise, I want to say. Some facts you need to know. Yes, there are some sports or which are based on skill rather than the fitness. So you don't be shocked when you go to golf course, and with your fitness, someone who is your best wins you, because it needs a skill. Most of other performances, for example, when you look at the body fat in the athletics, it has to be on the lower side to ensure that it is just normal, not excess. So having this high power to weight ratio, it also helps you so much, especially as I said, if you're cycling up or doing high jump, imagine you have excess fat, you won't be able to perform well. Why are you concerned about this body weight? Now, there's an effect of weight on your outcome in any competition. Sometimes can even be the clothing. It can be the attire you want to put on. Can be the photos. Some people are very concerned. I'm looking back. People are saying this, so they get concerned. Now, what questions are you supposed to answer? As Dr. said, at what weight of the body fat do you seem to be? There's that time when there's that weight where you feel you're light, you're able to jump, you're able to do everything. At what weight of this do you seem to achieve your best? Now, is this weight, does it maintain the good health? Because it's very important to know. So, can you achieve or maintain this weight without any unreasonable effect or effort, or without compromising any nutritional goals? Like some people can decide to go on restrained diets, a number of things. So, saying, which weight can you maintain such that you don't do this unreasonable effort to compromise your goals? These are questions you have to ask yourself. So it means you have to have a plan. Which weight are you looking at? So with this plan, something small you need to know about muscles and fat. The genetics of one person can also affect someone's muscles. There are some people, when it's in the genes, even if they eat what, they cannot get muscles. It takes a lot of time. Even if you put them on muscle gaining program, when you look at all the lineage, that's how they are. So, but there are so many still false beliefs about how to gain muscle. People think that when you gain weight, whether it is fat also, and you work out, it turns the fat into the muscle. I want to tell you that fat can never turn into muscle. That fat you add on you'll have to work out to burn it. Muscle comes from protein. Fat never turns into muscle. So if you think you're going to turn the fat you have into muscle, no. That is a very big, usually people have this false belief. And when you look at muscles, for you to build muscles, you need to have an energy surplus that have more protein, and there's no need of carbohydrates, so you can build your muscles. Yet when you need to burn the fats, you must create an energy deficit. If you're losing fat, you create an energy deficit. That is, you exercise, then after oxidation, after exercising recovery, we see the fats are continuously broken down. For muscles, it's different. This is another way of measuring the amount of body fat we have. They use a screen fold. It is mostly found in nutritionists. But as Dr. said, we can use a tape, a measurement she talked about, which you can actually easily see. But this one, it's more to the professionals, how you can know, based on the skin folds of the fat you have. Weight loss plan. Now, if you're thinking about cutting your weight and you want to use exercise, forget the magical miracles. and also be prepared to invest a little effort and sufficient time. These things of only wanting to do exercise once a week, no. I'll give you an example that footballers who train 4 times a day and their training is between moderate to intensive, it takes them 7 days to lose 1 kilo of fat. 7 days. Now, if you know a footballer who wakes up and runs that pitch and does everything and does the gym, does the swimming, if it takes him 1 week to drop just 1 kilo of fat, how about you who just decides to walk a few centimeters and you feel tired, and then you add in the more calories? So to burn off 1 kilogram of body fat, you must create this net energy loss 7,000. But trust me, many times we can only afford to cut down about 500 to 1,000 calories per day. So we usually need 1 to 2 weeks to get this energy deficit of 1 kilo. So if someone has 10 kilograms of fat they need to unload, now 10 kilograms, you multiply by 2 weeks. Those are the 20 weeks, close to 5 months they need to cut their weight. And that will mean they have a consistent training plan. And with that, they are in line with the diet, because now, as you imagine, you're able to break 500 to 1,000. I've seen people who train, but then they end up binging on things which have a lot of calories. For example, someone breaks down 500 to 1,000, and then after binges with their oils and all these foods, and adds in more than 10,000. So you add in 10 times what you burnt. So the question is, why did you go to burn and then after binge on things which are actually making you worse? That is another something to think about. Exercise alone for weight loss, as I said, it is not enough. When you look at these aerobic exercises for 12 weeks to 3 months to close to a year, they can result to a modest weight and waist circumference reduction. But you need to couple the exercise with a healthy diet. These things of fast exercising, then you get the appetite, then you binge on things which are unhealthy and are going to give out of energy. They're going to cause us, they actually water all our efforts. It was written that if a child takes 350 mils of a soda in senior 1 every day, by senior 4, that child, that adolescent would be obese. 1 every day. So it means, irrespective of what they do, exercise with a healthy diet. Sometimes what you put, because what you put in determines your load you have to do to unload. You cannot outrun a bad eating habit. A bad eating habit you will see someone doing exercises, but then the energy they add in. But I like this thing, but is it what you need? So there are limited choices. Diet may not provide a long-term solution. People can go on diets, people can get on this, but 50% of individuals who will see losing weight through diet alone, they eventually regain the weight back they lost. So it means if you add in exercise, it is a spice to ensure that you reach there. Ask yourself a question. With exercise I provide, will it give me a negative energy balance that will be able to give me a weight loss, or maintain energy balance for weight maintenance without any substantial compensation from other components of the energy balance equation, as we say? So the exercise you're going to do, is it enough? So you have to look at the magnitude of weight loss you need to reduce the health risk, and not actually what you want to look at the cosmetic or the personal goal. As we said, if you lose your weight by 5 to 10% of the baseline weight, you actually get in line with the health risk. But then we want you to get to your desirable goal, it means there is a little more effort and more time. After we got finished, still more on the exercise and the weight loss, you aim to expend at least 22,000 kilocalories per week. So this amount, you can get it by walking 5 days per week. That is 45 minutes per day. It means but then this can only be able. Some people walk as they drink. They read, they drink. So as we said, exercise will only be able if it goes along with a healthy diet. So they've given you a weight loss diet, a meal plan, which you complement, or exercise augments the diet. If you have a bad diet, even if you exercise, my friend, you'll never achieve your results. Although most of the individuals we see can lose the weight, we see maintaining the weight remains very, very hard. And it's unrealistic to say that someone has a weight maintenance when they reach their lowest weight. As doctors say, which lowest weight have you ever reached? If you look at this weight management and how your weight keeps on fluctuating, like remember those sine curves, so it goes on increasing and decreasing. There's something you need to understand. Perhaps exercise is the predictor for this weight maintenance. For you to maintain this weight, you have to add the diet, that's the exercise. So if you have an exercise of approximately 150 to 200 minutes per week, with an energy equivalent of 1,000 to 2,000 per week, it will give you this effective weight maintenance. So for those who are able to complete a greater amount of exercise, for example, 2,500, yes, it even works more. But we usually say start slow and start small. With exercise, don't just come, they said, I'm going to go to gym, you go 2 days and you lose. Start slow, start small. You start slow, start small, muscles go on getting used, you go on increasing, you go on increasing, you go on increasing. It's like that you keep motivated to do more exercise because a body has to be the body has to be exercising. If you assume, for example, static energy balance, an individual who performs moderate 30 minutes out of exercise is able to consume, for example, if you look at someone who doesn't do anything and he decides to walk, he burns like 150 kilocalories. If an athlete is running, he burns around 8 meters per hour, he burns around 400 kilocalories. So 30 minutes are good enough. So the weight should be seized in response to this. So it means if you need to cut your weight, you need to think about the exercise. But the exercise is not a one-time. Kabaka's run has to be there to enable you plan the entire year, every day, every day. So by the time Kabaka's run reaches, you are in those levels. But not going there when you last did your exercises sometime. It's actually someone does exercise today, tomorrow is very sick. Doctor, I feel sick. So it's something that we need to think about. At least 150 minutes moderate intensity exercise per week to accumulate these 200 minutes. It will be possible. If you've been obese before, you recommend 60 to 90 minutes per day. Also, this association obesity suggests 40 to 60 minutes of moderate intensity exercise per day. This includes walking, jogging, fatigue, taking those sprints, swimming. It includes most of the moderate intensity. You don't have to do what you don't wish to do again tomorrow. What is very evident is that exercise required for prevention of weight regain is much greater than exercise required for general health. As we say, you need, if you want a health prevention, you need close to 5%. But if you want to prevent weight regain, it is much more. Although it's very difficult for people to find the 30 to 60 minutes per day to do exercise. We'll say it's time commitment with the aid of treadmills, aid of any opportunity. If you could break it into 10 to 15 minutes segments, sometimes where you're able to walk. So some of these things, even if you're at work, go up the building, come down, you can use these minutes to ensure that you do the exercise, you have the timing. Lastly, whether you do continuous exercise or you break it down in 2 minutes, several minutes, so long as the minutes are done, we see same effect, which is going to be even if you do them at once. 1 kilo of fat, most likely we count it for 2 weeks. So if you want to reduce 10, just know you have 20 weeks for you to reduce the weight. Thank you so much for listening to me. Over to you, Mr. Balamaga.
Thank you very much, Dr. Mutiaba, for this insightful presentation. I hope you guys are taking notes and you're learning things. If there are any questions, please keep them coming. We planned for this presentation to be precisely 1 hour, but clearly we underestimated time required for it. So this is me humbly requesting you for more time. I promise we shall not need more than 30 minutes, but we really need more time because we haven't got to the part where Dr. Eva helps us design a meal plan for you. What we wanted to initially was to introduce the idea of weight, the science behind it, how to go about the weight loss. Then Dr. Mutiaba will give us an overview on how to use exercise to maintain or to lose weight and what goes into it. Then Dr. Eva is going to come in now and try to go through meal planning really fast before we get into the questions. I'm going to request Dr. Eva to take on right now in a minute. Be as quick as she can be, but also not too fast that people fail to keep up.
I apologize for my speed earlier. I'll try to slow down a little. Just to reiterate what Dr. Joseph had said about exercise, it's important that we not only come up with a plan, but that we also take action. So according to the report from WHO Global Health Observatory back in 2008, it was discovered that the 4th leading risk factor for mortality is actually being physically inactive. And over 3.2 million people die annually from this. And if you see the numbers, over 30% of people above 15 don't work out enough, and the majority of those happen to be females. You can take this under advisement to the ladies in this webinar so that we can change the narrative. Dr. Joseph emphasized energy balance. What you eat should not surpass what you expend. You should make sure the energy expenditure always is tipped to the right, exceeding your energy intake. So this is how we draft a plan for exercise. We are going to consider 3 factors. So in your little notebook, write down your duration, your intensity, and frequency for your exercises. For duration, like Dr. Joseph said, we should make sure that per week we aim for nothing less than 150 minutes. And then the more you work out, the more benefit you will actually attain. Choose your workout depending on its intensity, whether it's moderate intensity or vigorous intensity. But before you start on any vigorous workouts, please get the all clear from your physician. For frequency, just determine off your schedule how many days you can afford to exercise each week. When you're choosing the activity you're going to choose to partake in for the exercise, please note the number of days you will be able to do this activity. Feel free to come up with combinations of activity. You can say, I'll start off with walking and jog for 2 days a week and walk 5 days a week. I will choose moderate intensity workouts and mix it up with a little bit of vigorous once or twice weekly. I will walk for an hour each day and jog for 30 minutes each time. So when you come up with these realistic expectations based on your physical ability in the past, you will be able to come up with a plan easily. So this is an example of what your plan should look like. Personally, I'm not very athletic, so I would say it's best to start with walking. So if you're starting off with walking, be clear on the number of days that you will walk for. In this example, we are taking 5 days a week. We are walking at moderate pace. So it's a moderate intensity workout, and we are aiming for 30 minutes each day. So in order to calculate the number of, to understand the minutes, am I still too fast? Okay, let me just go back a bit.
They want you to walk a bit as opposed to running. Comment section. Thank you.
Sorry. Let me just go back. So we said we're going to divide our exercise. We're going to divide our exercise into 3 parts: the duration, the intensity, and the frequency. The duration is an amount of hours or minutes we are going to work out for each time. So if every day you intend to work out for 30 minutes, you'll say 30 minutes per day for 5 days a week. That comes to 30 times 5, which is 150 minutes a week. That becomes your duration. You remember that the more you work out, the better your outcome. For intensity, your workout can be either moderate intensity or vigorous intensity. But for most beginners, please start off with a moderate intensity workout, or not a vigorous one. For the frequency, just come up with a realistic number of days that you can afford to exercise. Do not lie to yourself that you can work out for 7 days a week with a 9-to-5 job. Chances are high you're going to fall short and end up relapsing on your goals. So come up with a realistic number of days that you can work out for. And according to research, anything less than 150 minutes per week is useless. It does not help you with weight loss. It will help you with weight maintenance and general well-being, but not weight loss. So you start off by selecting the activity that you want to partake in. Are you walking? Are you jogging? Are you cycling? Are you swimming? Whatever activity you choose, write it down in your notebook. Determine how many days you're going to work out for. Are you doing this activity moderate intensity or vigorous intensity? And each time you work out, how many minutes will you be able to work out for? When you have this, you write it down, something similar to this. I choose to walk for 5 days a week at moderate intensity for 30 minutes every time I walk. So this brings it to 5 days, 30 minutes each time, which is 150 minutes per week, moderate intensity. And this happens with the minimum requirement for weight loss. So if I'm putting in the minimum amount of work needed to lose weight, I should not expect the maximum amount of results in this period. Like we said, our goal must be realistic and relevant. So for the goal you're setting, expect realistic results, which is the minimum requirement for weight loss. Like Dr. Joseph said, it's very hard for us to find time to work out amidst our busy schedules, but we should take time. We should make the time, carve out time for exercise every day. Look into your schedule. What time can you squeeze? There's always that extra 30 minutes or 60 minutes in your day, be it at the start of the day or end of the day or in between sessions in the afternoon, but make the time to exercise. Are we together with how to make the exercise plan?
Yes.
Okay. We're going to design our plate. But before we design our plate, I'd like to respond to some of the questions that have been asked in the comment section. Somebody's asking if BMI computation is the same for adults and for children of all ages. The answer is relative. It could be yes or no, depending on the age of the child. For older children, yes, they can adapt to the BMI scaling. But for younger children, they have growth charts that we use to plot and see whether they're the right weight for their ages. I did not understand the computation for goal weight. For those that did not understand the computation for goal weight, we've gone over this, I think, twice or thrice now, and there's a breakdown in the comment section. Please go back there and revert, or you will get a recording of this and be able to revise it. Somebody else is asking that how much does bone contribute to the body weight? Why are we only talking about fat weight and not bone weight? The thing is, bone weight is roughly about 15% for everybody, and it's fixed for the adults. your bone weight is not changing. You're not a growing person anymore. So we focus on the fat because fat is what's going to impact your health. Bone weight and its density does not fluctuate much in your adult life. So it's not what's causing you to become overweight all of a sudden. It is fat, not bones. The Hamwi weight process, like I said, we shall just revisit the video at the end of this. Can we share alternative options besides body mass index, especially considering the fact that most men are muscular and can easily tip the scale when it comes to BMI scores? Okay, one, we have to understand that most men that are muscular are obviously muscular and not fat. Let's not hide behind the fact that we are men to assume we are muscular. Also, we have options. There is an adjusted BMI formula that accounts for body mass. It's called the relative fat mass equation. So when you put in your waist circumference and your height, you should be able to estimate your body fat percentage off of that, which gives you a clearer idea of your proportion of fat mass against lean mass in your body. And also, we mentioned the non-scale measurements using a tape measure. So when you take off your waist and hip measurements and find the ratio of those, it's a very good predictor of your health risks when it comes to your heart and diabetes. So there are so many ways you can measure without necessarily failing to track our metrics. Those are the questions so far that I have. Let's move on to how to design our plate. How to design our plate. So what do we put on our plate and what don't we put? Do we just put anything and everything based off on calories, or do we focus only on nutritional density? Because this is what a typical healthy plate looks like. It has lots of green leafy vegetables of all colors. It has lots of protein. It has a little bit of healthy fat, and it also has a bit of whole grain and other carbohydrates thrown in there. So when you look at our typical Ugandan meals, this is not what our regular plate looks like. Most of our food is the complex carbohydrates. We have lots of bread in there, lots of rice. We have a lot of matoke, a lot of potato. We have very little green vegetables. The fat that we use for cooking is what's readily available and cheap, which is the vegetable cooking oils, which are very dangerous for our health. The meat that we eat, yes, it's grass-fed. That's a plus, but also the portions of the meat that we eat is not exactly healthy. So when we look at our typical eating style, it does not quite fit with the healthy eating plate. So when we are choosing what food to eat, we have to focus on the nutrient density. Nutrient density is the measure of nutrients that a food gives you relative to the energy that it provides. Most foods that are highly processed have very low nutrient density and very low calories. So because we are chasing calories, we end up compromising on the nutrient quality of the foods that we eat. So sometimes we end up eating empty calories that are not beneficial to our health in any way. When you're calculating what calories you should eat in order to lose weight, just get your goal weight, the one that we calculated at the start. That weight multiplied by 2.2, so it goes to pounds, and then you multiply it by 12. Whatever value you get, that is the total number of calories that you should consume for you to be able to lose weight. You do not want to start on a very low restrictive caloric diet because it's not sustainable. And also the weight loss from such diets is also quite easily regained. So you want a reasonable caloric deficit so that, yes, on top of the exercise and you're watching what you're eating, weight loss happens in an organic pattern that is easy for you to sustain and carry on for a while. Remember, we have long-term goals and short-term goals. Do not focus only on the short-term goals. We have so many diet types that we can sign up for. We have so many skeletons for weight loss. You can either start on a high carb diet, a high protein diet, or a high fat diet. There's so much out there, but all these diets fall under 3 diets. We have the Atkins diet, we have the paleo diet, and we have the ketogenic diet. The Atkins diet is phasic. It has 4 phases where we gradually increase the amount of carbohydrates as we go along. This diet is great for weight loss in the short term, but in the long term, it's better for maintenance. The paleo diet allows for more green vegetables, more protein, but is conservative when it comes to fat and the low glycemic carbs. It is also quite rich in meat, so most people like it and find it very easy to do because you just walk into a restaurant, order for grilled chicken and vegetables, and you're paleo automatically. But it's also not very good in terms of results because it's best for maintenance. It will help you lose weight in the short term, and then it will take you to a weight that is very easy for you to sustain, but you don't keep losing weight long term. We have the keto diet, which I believe many of you are familiar with. It's a very low carb diet because it allows for only 5% of carbs. It's moderate in protein intake, about 25%, and allows for a lot of healthy fat. The catch is the fats must be healthy. As long as the fat is not healthy, you cannot eat it. Okay, so if you look at these different diets, you'll find that when it comes to fat, keto allows for the most fat across. When it comes to protein, the paleo is richest in protein. When it comes to carbs, Atkins will be your diet of choice. If you want something that has phases,
Sorry for the
it
interruption.
won't be
You're not
keto.
sharing the screen.
Hello?
You're not sharing your screen.
That's the screen. Okay, can you see my screen now?
Yes. We are.
Okay. So, like I was saying, when you look at these different diets, you have to choose what works for you. If you're into fat, then keto will be your diet of choice. If you're into protein, then you will have to go with paleo. If you prefer your carbs, then you'll have to choose something that's along the Atkins skeleton for your weight loss. If you want to rely on ketones on your weight loss journey, because ketones have so many pros, then you'll have to do keto because Atkins only has ketosis in phase 1. If you're looking for fast weight loss results, you'll find that keto gives you the fastest results, followed by the Atkins. And like I said, paleo is great for maintenance. It's good for somebody who has already realized their weight loss goal and wants to stay there, but also wants to eat healthy. If you're looking for results that you can keep long term, then you have the paleo and the keto as your options. But if you want to fit into a dress now, Atkins is the answer. You shouldn't sign up for keto if you want results in 2-3 weeks because the results they're fast, yes, but they're more long term. So look at this screen and choose what works for you, and then you can download an app that can guide you with how to select macros for each of these. Don't overthink it. Just download an app. There is MyFitnessPal. There is my plate. There is Carb Manager. There's so many apps you can download, and then you just enter the type of diet you want to do, either keto, Atkins, or paleo. Put in your age, put in your sex, put in the number of hours you sleep. There are so many questions you'll have to answer so that they can curate a plan just for you, and then that is what you will have to adhere to. But you have to remember that before you start any diet, all these diets have pros and cons. There is no diet that is 100% safe for you or a diet that is 100% healthy. It's called a diet for a reason. So check with your primary physician first before you embark on any of these. When you start to shop, after you've entered all your stats into this app and you have a meal plan, please be sure of what it is you're actually buying. It's important that you learn how to read nutritional labels. When you're reading a nutritional label, always start at the top. Start with the serving size. The serving size is always clearly written. It's either 1 cup or 1 tablespoon, but it's always written there. And then below it, you will have servings per container. That means for this particular item that has a serving size of 1 cup and servings per container at 4, it means this specific pack of this product has up to 4 servings. That means it has 4 cups available in it. Below that, we are going to look at the calorie section. So with the newer fact sheets, the calories are written in big, bold letters at the extreme right, so that it pops. So you see it. It's not hidden like it is in this illustration here. So for the calories, you're going to balance that out with the exercise so that you're in a negative energy balance. Then below this, we are going to look at the nutrients. We have nutrients that we want to eat in excess. We have nutrients we want to eat in moderation, and nutrients we do not want to eat, where we want to avoid as much as possible. The ones in red are the ones we are going to avoid. You're going to see in there we have fat, we have cholesterol, we have salt. Salt is sodium. We limit salt because it directly affects our blood pressure. Cholesterol and fat, for obvious reasons. Fat can be good or bad. You don't want to eat fat that is bad. The fat that is good is the one that's written on unsaturated fat. Unsaturated fat can be the monounsaturated fat or the polyunsaturated fat. The monounsaturated fats we get from oils like olive oil, we get from avocados, we get it from nuts. And it's good for you because it helps you reduce the bad cholesterol and lowers the risk for heart disease. And the polyunsaturated we get from fish, from fatty fishes like salmon, we get it from flaxseed, we get it from walnuts. And these are rich in omega-3 and 6. These are fatty acids that are essential for brain function and heart health. For the bad fats, we have the saturated fats and the trans fats. The saturated fats are usually the easiest way to tell that this is a saturated fat is it's solid at room temperature. You're going to see it hard, it's semi-solid. Then the trans fats are also very bad for you. So things like margarines, some cheeses, butter, some meats, they give us these saturated fats and the trans fats that we don't want. The challenge with the trans fats is that they not only increase bad cholesterol, but they also lower the good cholesterol in your body that helps you flush out the bad one. So you want to avoid trans fats the most, followed by the saturated fat, and then cholesterol. You have to monitor which kind of cholesterol you're taking in. After that, we look at the carb section. We have to make sure if your diet is a low-carb diet, you actually adhere to the low-carb guidelines of that specific diet. You want most of your carbs to come along with dietary fiber and not sugar. Protein, again, go back to the macros of whatever diet it is you're doing. Then the last section that we look at is where the vitamins are. We want to focus on these vitamins because most of these our bodies cannot make. So we need to get them from the food that we eat. The last part down here is a food note that will guide you on the calories that you're having along with the daily values. So most fact sheets at the extreme right under percentage daily value, you're going to find percentages there, and you want to eat food when it comes to the fat and the cholesterol and the sodium. You want to eat less than 5% of your recommended percentage daily value. That is what WHO will recommend. Also, when you look at the fact sheet and the general ingredient list, you should be able to see what ingredients were used in making this food and whether or not they meet with your dietary restrictions, if you have any allergens. And yeah, you should be able to tailor what it is you're going to eat if you can read what that food has. Remember to track your progress. Have a food diary with you where you write down whatever it is you eat along with the portions. If you have an app, it should be able to help you with this. Have a fitness app so you can monitor your exercise as well. Regularly check your metrics. Either do this daily, weekly, every other day, monthly, but you must check. Track your behavior. We said at the start of this, there's some mannerisms we have that we want to change. If you don't change them, then nothing much is going to happen when it comes to weight loss. Many of you have been saying you get started on a weight loss journey and slowly revert back to old habits. The plan is to not revert back to old habits by tracking these manners that we said we are going to stop. Remember to stay motivated, set short-term goals that are easy to achieve, because the easier it is to achieve, the faster you will achieve them and the happier you will be with yourself. Set long-term goals as well, so that when we achieve them, we have a lot to show for our efforts. Remember to reward yourself. If exercise is not your thing, make sure you find a workout buddy to motivate you so that you will stick to your goals. Focus on both the scale and non-scale changes, because sometimes the scale may not move, but the non-scale The tape measure will show you something positive. Surround yourself with people that are positive and that support your journey, and remember to be kind to yourself. When you're celebrating milestones, remember to use non-food rewards. Do not reward yourself with ice cream every time you lose 5 kilos. There are so many ways you can reward yourself. Buy yourself new gym wear every time you hit a certain exercise milestone. Buy yourself a new kitchen equipment because you've managed to stick to your meal plan for a certain period of time. Try and reinforce positive behavior. And each time you achieve a goal, set a new goal. Do not stop at that one goal. Keep setting new goals and keep pushing yourself further and further. I wish you guys all the best with your weight loss journey. For those of you that need help, you can call the number on your screen. We'll be readily available. Do you have any questions?
Doctor, we had some questions you skipped, but I'll start from down, if you don't mind, very quickly. Is the sugar in food equally as good / bad processed sugar? Always known natural fruit juice not to be that bad, but Roger recently created doubt about. Kindly clarify. Then the other one, does exercise improve or worsen knee? I can't read this other word, stereothesis. If it helps, what kind of exercises are good for the condition? I'm looking for the ones you missed when you're reading. What time is the latest time for taking dinner and or before sleeping? Then what causes knee pain when someone starts exercising? I think then second lastly, does sauna and steam bath help anything in regards to weight loss? Then there's one I know you missed. I'm looking for it. Yeah, Dr. Eva spoke about having consistent meals throughout the day to avoid spike in sugar levels. However, intermittent fasting has always been recommended as a good way to lose weight. Fast from 7 p.m. to 11 a.m. following day. Any comments on this? I think I'll stop there.
I'm not muted, right? Hello? Okay. I'll start with Joseph. Are you still with us? Dr. Mtiaba? Okay, I thought you'd be better suited to answer your questions on exercise, but I'll tackle them. What causes knee pain when someone's starting exercise? You just need to get your body back on form. You haven't been doing this for a while, so your body needs to get into the routine. Be easy on yourself. Start with moderate exercise as your body adapts. Once it adapts, you're going to find it easier and easier to work out. Also, remember your knees and the lower joints of your body carry your weight. So usually somebody starting off on exercise already has a weight problem. So they're quite heavy for their joints to carry. So if your weight, your knees are carrying you, your ankles are carrying you, but you're heavy and you're adding on exercise that is more intense than your body is used to, of course, there's going to be some pain. So start off slow, or better yet, give your body some time to lose a little bit of a weight so it's easier for your knees to carry you. What time is the best time for taking dinner and or before sleeping? I hope I understand this question. Dinner is best had a couple of hours before bedtime, usually 2 to 4 hours. So the earlier you have your dinner, the better, so that you give your body time to metabolize the food. Does exercise improve or worsen knee osteoarthritis? Like I said, before you start exercise, see your primary physician first. You may have some illnesses like osteoarthritis that will get worse with certain exercises. So please see the doctor first, get the all clear before you start on any exercise routine. Is the sugar in fruits equally as good or as bad as processed sugar? Processed sugar is the worst, but your body recognizes sugar as sugar. Your body recognizes sugar, proteins, fat, and water. So whatever you're eating falls under those categories. So just because the sugar is coming from a mango does not mean your body will interpret that as fat or as protein. It remains sugar, although the processed sugar is a lot worse than the naturally occurring one. This does not mean we eat all the fruits in the world just because they're there. We still have to eat all this in moderation. Margarine is not good fat, good to know. So what spread should I use on bread? There's so many bread spreads you can use. You can use honey. Honey is a naturally occurring bread spread. You can go for nut butters. Get whatever nut you like, grind it to a smooth paste and add it to your bread. It's very easy to do. You can also make natural occurring cream cheese, and then you spread that onto your bread. For most diets I have tried, I always end up getting palpitations, which hinders my weight loss goals. How do you advise me? See your doctor first. I do not know what other comorbidities you have. I do not know if it's the diet causing these palpitations. Is it your age? Is it because you're working out too intensely? See the doctor first and get to the bottom of it. How else can the ideal weight be calculated apart from the harm? We've discussed this already. You can use BMI. There's so many ways you can figure this out. Does the sauna and steam bath help anything in regards to weight loss? It depends. With the sauna and steam bath, you will sweat a lot, which will cause dehydration. So you have a water shift in your body. So you will have a weight loss of about 1 kilo to 3 kilos, depending on what your water weight is. But that is not a true weight loss. It's just a water shift. I hope I've responded to all the questions.
There was a dramatic thread on you've answered, but there was another one that was given by JK as the guidance. And there's a whole wheat bread at Broad. They actually have oat bread actually, and both are said to be healthy. I think we could phrase that as a question. And
yes, like I said, there's so many diets that you can start on. So you find this whole wheat bread can fit into a certain diet and not fit into another. So start off by choosing what diet you actually want to do, and then you can find what foods can fall under that. Because what fits one diet does not fit the other. There's no one size fits all for diets. Are there still people who haven't understood the harm we?
I think we would have to ask the people to unmute, the person to unmute themselves would ask that a couple of times. But to this last question, it's a rebuttal to what you've been talking about. What makes processed sugar a lot worse than food sugar if it's all recognized as sugar by the body? Hence, I don't know what you said there, the same way. So maybe that's something that you were talking.
Oh, okay, so there is something, I didn't want to dive a lot into the science of it, but there's something called the glycemic index of a food. So different foods will cause your body to produce insulin differently. So you find when you eat fresh fruit whole, or if you get fruit and squeeze it into juice, or if you get processed granular sugar, they're all going to give you very different spikes on that insulin axis. You want to get foods that have a low glycemic index. You want foods that will not give you a big spike. You'll find processed sugars give you the most spike. Then fruit juice that is squeezed as juice will also give you a relatively higher spike compared to somebody who eats the pulp of the fruit. So all these sugars are sugar. Yes, the granular sugar also comes from sugar canes that have just been processed, but the impact on your insulin response is very different. That is why we demonize some sugars and accept others. Someone else is asking here what cheese is good for keto. Usually we go for the cheeses that have had the saturated part of fat removed. You also find that the cheeses and the fat sources that are good for keto, the healthy fat, is also usually a lot more pricey. So if you look at the supermarket aisle, you're going to find cheap cheese, expensive cheese. This is not to say that all expensive cheese is good for you, but if you look at the fact sheet, you're going to find that with the expensive cheese, usually the saturated fat is a whole lot less compared to that of the regular cheese. So there are so many brands and types that you can pick because now we are equipped with how to read the nutritional fact sheet. So read them and choose what works for you and what's within your price range. Remember, sustainability is key. Don't start off with something that's too pricey that you cannot carry on for the number of weeks that you need to hit your weight loss goal. I see somebody here is asking, Brenda is asking, the process from harm weight to goal weight. It's okay. Let me just redo that because I see that's the bulk of the questions. Let me just go back. Okay, so we said for us to identify what our goal weight is, we have to start off by realizing and understanding what our highest weight has been as an adult. You write that down. Then you figure out what your lowest weight has been as an adult, not as a teenager or a young adult, but as an adult, like in the recent years, what has your lowest been? Then find your stable weight, that weight that you always go back to. Write all those three down. Then we calculate the HAMWI. We said for the HAMWI weight, you start off by knowing your height. The prerequisite before joining this webinar, I'd made a request that we all come in knowing our heights and our weights. So let's assume you're 162 centimeters tall. The fact that you're 5 foot tall, you're about 152, means you get 45 kilograms. Hope you're a female and you're almost this height, I know you. So you get about 45 kilos, so being 5 foot tall. But because you're 10 centimeters more than 152, you get a kilo for each of those extra centimeters. That brings us to 10 extra on top of the 45 for being 152. So our reasonable weight would be the 45 for being 5 foot tall. Then for those extra 3 inches, which are the 10 centimeters, you get an extra 10. So your HAMWI weight becomes 55. Now we said the goal weight should fluctuate by 5, either +5 or -5 of the stable weight. So pick any weight that satisfies that requirement. You can go with 63, you can go with 65, you can go with 62, you can go with 70. Whichever you feel is more realistic for you is what you choose as your goal weight. Then you get your current weight and subtract that goal weight that you want to be at. And then you will find the total number of kilograms that you want to lose. Whatever weight it is that you come up with as the number of kilos you've got to lose. Remember that you can lose 1 kilogram per week in the short run, but for the long term, you have to aim for 0.5 kilogram per week. Then you prorate that into weeks and you know exactly how long your journey is going to take. Is this clear for everybody now?
Though Agnes right there, if you can hold the horses there without changing the slide. Agnes Sarah asks, how about if your height is 4'8", that's 148 centimeters. How do you calculate the HAMWI there?
Robert, I apologize. It is me who was taking over. I really don't want us to go beyond 6:37. This was supposed to be 1.5 hours. It's already been 1 hour, 37 minutes. Maybe, but no. Already starting to drop off. And we are going to have this on a more regular basis. I apologize for the remaining questions that haven't been answered, but I don't want us to set a precedent that whereas we never keep time, except we won't want to tune in. So maybe what we are going to do, we are going to respond to the rest of the questions on our social media platforms. So you can go and I'm going to write a post on our Facebook and Instagram that talks about this particular webinar that we've had. And this will be a prompt for anyone who has a question that has not been answered or has not been understood. Just kindly log in the next hour or so, then drop your question under the post, asking whatever hasn't been answered. Then you will be responded to. Otherwise, thank you very much to all of you who have tuned in for this webinar. Thank you for your time. I hope it has been productive. I hope you've got value for your time. Just a reminder that this webinar is sponsored by the Keto Clinic, where we help people like yourselves or people. I assume you're one of them because you've tuned in here today to attain your weight goals. So it could be weight loss, it could be weight maintenance, though most of our clients come to us for weight loss. But then also is another category of clients who come to us because they want to manage their existing comorbidities like diabetes and high blood pressure. And then a smaller category of people who bring their children who have neurological disorders like autism and epilepsy. And the science shows that the keto diet is very helpful in helping them attain their their milestones faster, not as a cure, but just helps them in attaining those milestones. So like I mentioned, we are going to be doing this a bit more often, probably monthly, and we shall be doing different topics and inviting different experts. Otherwise, at this moment, I want to thank Dr. Eva for the time and the presentation. Thank you also, Dr. Joseph, for your expert knowledge and insights into weight management with exercise. I'm going to share the handles for both doctors, and then what else? I think that's it. Oh, also, just to remind you, we're going to share this presentation via your emails that you submitted when you're registering for this webinar. And please go and follow us on Facebook. We have a page and then a group, like a community group on Facebook. They're both called the Keto Clinic. Then the page is also called the Keto Clinic. And then Instagram still be the Keto Clinic. And we're also going to start a channel which you can follow on WhatsApp for more details and updates and whatever is happening. Otherwise, thank you very much. Those are our contacts. Feel free to reach out for more information, or you have a consultation, or you want a meal plan for keto, or you want to join our Keto Dash program where you receive meals and professional guidance on your weight loss journey with the support of Dr. Eva and the other experts on the team. Thank you so much, and this is goodbye from me. See you next month. Bye-bye.